Wonderful. Welcome, everybody. This is Kate Cherry. I'm the Regional Director of the Athena Network in Bedfordshire and St Albans area. So that's Welwyn, Hatfield, St Albans, Harpenden. And this is a member spotlight. So it's where we get to know one of our lovely members a little bit more about their business and themselves and their business journey. And today we have the wonderful, lovely Christina Makhoul of M² Accountants based in Harpenden. Hello, Christina.
Hi there, Kate. Lovely to see you.
Thank you, and you too. And we're really excited to find out a little bit more about you today. So we're going to jump right in. And it's very strange actually, because we're both sitting in Harpenden, aren't we? But we're
We
on Zoom. We could have actually done this in person, couldn't we? So tell us about your business, what it does, how you help people.
Okay, well, I run an accountancy and tax business. I cover most areas of accounts and taxation, but what I actually most enjoy is the advisory side. So it will be people coming to me for tax efficient ways of structuring events that are happening in their lives, like buying and selling of houses and businesses, etc., and assisting with forward planning in general. So generally speaking, there is usually something you can do in advance of a transaction that makes the tax pinch point less painful. And if you leave it all to the last minute and don't do any preparation and planning, then you're probably going to end up with the worst situation. So my whole role I see as being someone that people can approach, speak to in advance of doing things. We can work out what may be the best strategy to do something before it actually happens. And everyone's organised and we know we've been the most efficient we possibly can be. So I do lots of accounts, I do lots of tax returns on an annual basis. And the most important thing that people don't necessarily realise about an accountant is that, unlike with solicitors and financial advisors, perhaps, we tend to have an ongoing relationship with our clients, which means they come back to us year after year after year. So if we're serving them well, they keep coming back, which is a great business model. And you know, if we're not so good, then maybe they don't. So my whole aim in life is to make sure that people are getting the sort of service that they want to come back for more for, because it benefits both of us if we get to know each other even better. So that, that established relationship is the core to my business. And that's what I really enjoy, the relationships with my clients, not just the calculating a number of tax at the end of a tax year. That doesn't actually excite me that much, funnily enough.
It's the problem solving side of it. I love that. And that's a strategy we could all take in all our businesses, isn't it? Someone once said to me, it's easier to look after existing customers than it is to constantly go and find new customers.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, new blood's always important because every year there's what I call natural wastage. So clients sadly die, clients move areas and they want someone local to them, clients fall out of self-assessment and don't need another tax return from you, clients close down their businesses and retire and then don't need an accountant after that. So there is a natural churn on my client base all the time, but that mix of new and old clients is always exciting.
Yeah, totally.
So everyone says accountancy sounds really dull, but I just love it because I'm constantly getting new people or existing people that I know well with new situations. And I don't know, no day's ever the same. And I think if you just put accountancy in a box that's just adding up a spreadsheet, then you're kind of missing the whole purpose of what we're doing.
The interaction and getting
Yeah,
to know people and serving them.
yeah.
And so how did you start the business? What's your background?
Well, I've actually been an accountant for more than 30 years now, which I find quite shocking because in my head, I'm only about that age. Um, so I first started with accountancy training when I was living in Manchester, which was 20 odd years ago, and I trained with some very good practices up there. And then 20 years ago, I moved down to Harpenden and was employed again, as in I didn't start my own business until 2010. So I've been at it on my own, as in as a sole trader, business owner, etc., for more than 10 years now. And I would honestly say it's probably the best decision I ever made, because it enables me to deliver a service in the way I want. And a lot of accountants are purely money focused, as in how much can I make my margin on my clients? How much more can I get out of this? And for me, it's very much, yes, that's important because I don't want to be on the street. But also, I actually want the opportunity to sort of say that I'm a trusted advisor and someone that people want to go to because they don't feel exploited by me. So, you know, it's the combination of being able to deliver what clients are wanting, which I could always do when I was employed, and doing it my own way, which I can do now I've got my own business. So it's great. And I've got a lovely team that work with me. It's not just me. And my sort of business philosophy goes throughout my team. We're all very professional, mostly qualified. I don't really, apart from my superb PA, Philippa, who is very personable. She's the only one that doesn't actually have an accountancy qualification, but lots of people think she does because she speaks to them in a way that is quite technically reassuring sometimes. So yeah, I've just tried to make the firm as a whole full of approachable people, so that if I'm not available, people are not feeling there's a big hole there. It's, Christina's not there, but Pauline was very useful, for example. So it's fine.
Brilliant. I love that. And so you've been a member of Athena a number of years now. If you, I want to say coming up to 4 next year. It's about 3 now, isn't it?
Probably, yeah.
And so I actually do. I know why you joined Athena, but why did you join Athena, and what benefits have you had from being part of the community?
Well, I recognised the value of networking very early on in starting my business, because I started my business with a very small number of clients who were sort of, I suppose, towards the end of their needing an accountant phase. They were either elderly or they were sort of ceasing businesses or whatever. So it wasn't a particularly good client base to build from. But it enabled me to have a regular income whilst I was trying to develop new clients. And what I found was my most effective way of onboarding new clients potentially was by making valued connections within the local business community and within the local community in general. And networking has always been my primary I suppose, marketing strategy. And Athena fits in extremely well with that, because what I've found is that quite often I actually do better in a female orientated, less testosterone and posturing atmosphere. Don't get me wrong, I still network within mixed groups, but what I particularly value about the Athena network is the fact that it's female orientated. And I don't know whether you've noticed, Kate, but I definitely have. Women tend to be slightly less competitive and more about how can we help each other and work in a coordinated way. So one thing I do love is the fact that if you're in a group like Athena, you've got trusted people that you can either refer your clients to, or you can use them yourself. And you have got a massive resource that's not just, who who you knew 20 years ago. It's a constantly evolving, and oh wow, I've never met anyone with that skill set before. I'm banking that and I'm using it later, even if I don't have an immediate need for it. So yeah, Athena is great at enabling those valuable connections to be made, those valuable connections to be maintained, because you're meeting each other regularly. And with the regular connection and meeting up, and even person to person meeting up that we're sort of doing on a more ad hoc basis, it's just lovely to re-establish those connections regularly, so that people are present in your mind. And when you've got a situation, you think, yeah, actually that client's got that problem, I actually know someone that can solve that problem. Job done.
I
And
love
it's
that.
someone that I
Yeah.
know who's actively working and looking for new business. So that again enables you to say, right, I don't want to refer to them because I know they're almost a closed book, but this
Mm.
person is actually looking for more work, and it's exactly the right thing that I'm going to be giving them. So, you know, it's great, because if you put yourself out for networking, it means you're prepared to take on new things.
I love
So
that because I've tried to refer to people I met previously before, only to then find out that they're either not in that business anymore or they've tweaked it. Or so staying in touch and having that community of people you're regularly in touch with, it is
absolutely.
much more of a sort of that sort of hive, that sort of
Yeah, and
board of
obviously the greatest value comes with the one-to-ones, because during a meeting you don't have much time to express, you know, the years of experience that you may have in a
mm,
1 minute, or even in a spotlight session. So when you've got the opportunity to sort of meet up on a one-to-one basis, exchange information in a detailed way with somebody, I think you really get to know what their skill sets are, and
mm,
what they're interested in doing. And actually, sometimes it's not necessarily what you thought it might be. Sometimes they've
mm,
got that extra string to their bow that you think, wow, actually, that really does set you apart. And actually, because of that, I'm actually going to remember you more than other people that do exactly the same job. So, you know, it's the value is in the establishing those connections in the first place, but not using them as a deck of business cards. It's in following up and being part of a community.
I love
So
that.
it's
Thank
your
you for that reply.
activity in being a community that is the most valuable.
Not just turning up. I love that. And I'm going to go straight to ask you now, what is next for you in the business?
Well, I think it's sort of holding the ship steady at the moment, really, as in I've got a lovely team around me. I'm working on the sort of clients that I enjoy working on. 99% of my business, I would say, comes from within my existing client base. So clients keep referring more clients with similar issues. I'd like to continue to build my profile locally. So I'm finding that more and more people are sort of referring me because they've heard of someone that's used my services. Um, and, you know, getting word out there that there is a good, empathetic accountant that's interested in people, not just numbers. You know, that's kind of where I'm at with it, really. Not necessarily going to grow in any extreme way. I want to deliver a service, and to do that in a quality way. I'm not just, you know, going to exponentially expand. I'm looking for good clients that want the advice, are prepared to pay for it, and are open to, you know, in my involvement in all sorts of things.
So how can people get in touch with you? I mean, or is there a call to action that you have as well, that you would like to share with people how they can interact with you, or something in particular? You touched on it just there, really, but something in particular you're looking for that we can help you with?
Well, I mean, obviously, I am active in local networks. So, um, things like the Harpenden network and things like that. I'm more than happy to receive recommendations via that, because that's actually a very good way. The usual social media and
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. Yeah, I mean, I have profiles on everything, so I can be found relatively easily. And because my business is now more than 10 years old in my local area, it's hopefully beginning to sound like it's one of the well-established businesses in the local area, as opposed to new kid on the block now. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm looking for any business that's not getting the service that they would like from their
Mm.
existing accountant, and would like more involvement and assistance, because quite often accountants, because of their personality type, can be quite hands off, because they just only do things when they're nudged to do them. But I want to establish relationships, and to do that, I need people that want to talk to me, and I want to talk to them.
I love that. Like us today, Christina. Um, Thank you so much for your time. It's been really great to speak to you. Christina's actually in our St Albans North group, which meets on the third Wednesday, isn't it? And so you're a founding member of that group, because you jumped in straight away when we launched it at the beginning of the pandemic, wasn't it? It was a week after lockdown, which is a bit of a shock for us because
Yes,
we were
that
expecting
was
to have
odd.
this big in-person do, and it ended up being online. But
Yeah,
it works well.
yeah.
Um, so thank you. If you'd like to book onto the meeting or the group that Christina belongs to, get in touch, and you can. I'll put some links in the comments of this description of this post to be able to connect back with Christina. But thank you for your time,
Thank you.
and take care. And I'll see you at our next meeting.
Indeed, you will.